5% increase on calls for service.
Kevin, not
Yes.
to interrupt you,
Yeah.
on the dogs reclaimed by the owners, how many of those dogs are having this, they have the city tag?
I would say
Percentage.
20%.
Okay, and then so the ones that are reclaimed by the owners, is there a difference in what they have to pay if they're tagged or not?
Yeah, so if we pick up a dog, it's a $50 fine. If it's a registered dog, a $75 fine. If it's non-registered, and then we force them to purchase the tag.
Okay, just would like more people to know that.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine. I think that's pretty much it. My last page, I just put some pictures of some of the community outreach programs or stuff that we've done throughout the year.
I actually ran into some of your officers shopping with the kids at Walmart in the holiday season. It was kind of fun to see how excited they were. So.
Both the kids are excited, and I actually really enjoy that myself.
Yeah, we should maybe put the word out too, how people can contribute toward that.
We are not without funds for that. Every year, the donations are incredible.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I particularly like the presence in the schools that our police force has. I mean, having 2 students in the community schools, I think it's very important that you're active there, and I don't know.
Right. So after the incident that occurred in Perry, I know I talked to you and Jason the very next day or the day after. I was sitting across the table from Dr. Webner, just talking about what we're doing, what improvements we can make, and just talking things through.
Yeah. But I think it's the right way to go about it.
We got 100% school cooperation on that.
Yeah, they're 100% in.
Good, excellent.
Another thing worth noting is the number of warnings versus citations. That's
the one I always like.
It's down over the past couple of years, though.
But after budget,
that 73 or that 23%.
after budget, we may have to go to 50-50 on those.
I dare a couple of cities to our south to come and show us their.
That was a joke, everybody.
Community development.
That's the next phase, community, that's not part of the arrests, warnings.
Okay, quickly, the first thing I want to report is the community development plan. As you guys recall, we started in the fall of late 2022 and all through the year 2023 to develop our community development, Lamar's community development plan. City Council adopted that plan in October, and throughout the rest of this report, you'll see some of the projects that have been identified and prioritized as projects as a result of the community development plan. Industrial development updates, we did sell 4 lots in Lamar's Industrial Park 3rd Edition. Lots 1 and 2 were sold to St. Paul Commodities to construct a track to extend the transload facility, and they will construct a processing facility on those 2 lots within the next 3 to 5 years. Lot 6 was sold to Northwest REC, who turned a portion of that lot and sold it for a Bitcoin data center. If you've been out there, you'll see that tucked into a corner of that lot along 27th Street. And Northwest REC will market the rest of the lot for additional development. And then lot number 7, that's on Industrial Road, was sold to Texan Machine to construct a manufacturing facility for a custom CNC shop. Their intent is to begin construction this spring. And that leaves us 5 lots in Lamar's Industrial Park number 3 for sale. As a result of that, it was necessary to do Lamar's Industrial Park 4th Edition, and the plating was approved to create 7 lots, 3 to 5 acre larger industrial lots. They've been annexed into the city, and then you guys approved the bid today to start the installing of the infrastructure and the goals for the completion of that in September of this year. And then along with that, across the road to the west on Lake Avenue, we started Southview Industrial Park. That was city-owned land, and we sold the first portion of that land to Pet Parlor to construct a dog grooming and boarding facility. They opened up for operations in February. Then we completed the platting to create 19 1/2 to 1 acre lots for smaller light industrial lots. Those are designed for trade, startups, and storage. The completion of the infrastructure for those lots is scheduled to be complete in July. LBIC has already started to market the lots. They're on our website, and I've been having conversations with different individuals. And as a result of Lamar's Industrial Park transload facility and the increase in cars going through there, there's a need to add an interchange at our transload facility. The estimated cost for that is $930,000. Council approved the plans and specs to go out for bid. That was at the last council meeting. The pre-bid meeting will take place on the 28th. The bids are due the 12th of March, and we'll consider the contract to expand our interchange at the March 19th meeting with a goal to complete that project by the end of October of this year. Some commercial updates. LBIC, along with city assistance, acquired Highway 75 Business Park. As a reminder, those are the lots between McDonald's and Suntan City. T-Mobile purchased lot number 1. Construction has started. That should be done by the end of February. Lots 3 and 4, you guys just approved some assistance for that lot, and a 10,000 square foot strip center will start this spring, and construction should be complete by the end of the year. That leaves 1 lot in that area. That's right next to McDonald's. That'll be a half-acre lot. We'll continue to market that for a commercial project, but because of what's happened with the other 2 lots, that's now become a very desirable lot within the community. LBIC acquired a 1.1 acre lot along Business 75 next to the Brock Auction Company. LBIC will market that lot for a commercial project. And then finally, for a couple other things for commercial is we created the Lamar's Business Corridor Urban Renewal Area. That's the new TIF district that starts at Erdmanville at the north and goes south to the airport to assist with commercial development projects along Business 75. And then finally, for commercial development, our intent this year is to apply for a EPA Brownfield grant. And what that'll do is when we bought Erdmanville, that's considered brownfield, underutilized property. And there had to be some due diligence with that property, such as environmental work done, whether it be asbestos or phase 1 or phase 2. Well, the opportunity is the EPA has some dollars to help identify other areas of the community that might have those same challenges. So, and there could be an opportunity for $250,000 to help with planning for those underutilized properties and to do the due diligence so when someone comes along to develop, we're ready. So we are going to work towards gathering that inventory and applying for that grant towards the end of this year. Housing development updates. LBIC acquired the land north of the Parkview mobile home park for $20,000 per acre. LBIC has a developer identified. There is a purchase agreement in front of that developer, and we will work towards developing that project throughout this year. And then the next one is Erdmanville. LBIC purchased Erdmanville in the fall of 2023 with the assistance of the city. We did a phase 1 environmental in September. We did an asbestos inspection in September and October. Asbestos was removed in November and December. Demo started in January, and LBIC has received proposals from different organizations to develop it. They have chosen a developer, and there is a purchase agreement in front of that developer as we speak. And so as we go throughout this year, we'll continue to work towards developing that property. The goal would be to have construction start on that property this fall, if everything goes the way we want. And then another housing development is LBIC did purchase 18 acres at the east end of Lamar's for future housing development as identified in our Lamar's Community Development Plan, and we will make that land available to interested developers. And then most recently, the child care market analysis that was done in Lamar's in 2021 talked about a shortage of 500 spots, and we talked about this a lot at our last council meeting, so I'm not going to go into great detail, but a 501c3 was formed, and Lamar's Lamar's Community Daycare Center, Inc. purchased the former Building Blocks building, partnered with Crittenden Center out of Sioux City, took over, did some updating and upgrading of the facility. When they started, there was 38 children being served, and as of last week, Monday, there was 103 children being served with a capacity of 217, and they're getting 2 to 4 applications daily. In addition to that, there is enough land to construct another daycare center in the future, at least equal the size of that one. And then last week, we did have the open house at Crittenden, and it was well received. And then Lamar's park planning, as part of our Lamar's community development plan, O'Toole Park was designed for future development, and Lamar's Area Betterment Foundation has expressed interest in taking on a new project for Lamar's Community Improvement Plan 3, and that would be the cornerstone of that project, but they also wanted to identify other park improvements that they might be able to support. And so to that end, last week, we did have ISG come back to town, take a look at our other parks, get citizen input and committee input, and identify some future park projects and work towards Lamar's Betterment Project 3. And so that's the development that's been going on in partnership with LBIC and other organizations throughout the year, and what we're working towards for this year. Questions?
Mark, on your first page, what's Texan Machine, or custom, what's a custom CNC shop?
It's a machine shop. They do metal machining, and so it can be anything from a farmer needing a part for a tractor to a small manufacturer needing whatever part that might be as a component to theirs. But they were working out of an acreage, and they've outgrown that acreage, and now they want a facility where they can hire help and continue to grow their business. You know, a neat story about Rock Valley has grown an entire industrial park with small CNC shops that started as one-man shops that grew into larger, and so that's the same type of thing. We don't have a lot of machining in Lamar's, but this will be a nice one for our community.
Great, thank you.
And on the $250,000 brownfield grant you apply for, do you have to have identified properties to apply for the grant for those properties, or is it an open-end thing where you can use them for identified brownfield type properties?
You have to identify in the grant application what properties you're going to do.
Do we have a few on the radar?
Yes, and if you have any suggestions, send them my way.
I can think of a couple, but I was just curious if you had some on your radar.
I do. I asked LBIC at one of our LBIC board meetings, and I'm asking you guys the same thing. As you're out and about, if there's a dilapidated property that's just underutilized, that someday wouldn't it be neat to redevelop that?
Right.
A perfect example is the old Baumgars across from Quickstar. That used to be, you know, what was that in the past? I've been told there was a truck stop there one time. I don't know if that's true or not. It hasn't been in my lifetime.
Not in mine.
But, you know, where Campbell's had his landscaping, that was Schuster Trucking originally. And so what's underneath the ground there? Those are the types of properties that, you know, as we want to redevelop, Fetters Marine and RV, once those buildings get removed, what, you know, what was there?
Right.
And so let's get that due diligence done now. That way when the developer comes, they can just buy it and have comfort.
I mean, and then, what's the train usage manufacturer out of Minneapolis warehouse? What's that, Mark?
Are you talking St. Paul Commodities?
Okay, yes.
Yeah, so they transload raw materials here, and they take them elsewhere to, it's an oil. So soybean oil and different types of oils.
Okay.
And so they're transloading out in our industrial park and getting the raw materials from this part of the world to manufacturers, but they see the opportunity as building their own manufacturing plant in Lamar's, which is why they were utilizing Burlington Junction, some of their space, to just transload stuff in and out, just to get it out of Lamar's, the raw materials to where they process. And so they needed more space. That's the reason they bought those 2 lots. And in addition to that, they want to eventually put up a manufacturing facility to take those raw materials and turn
Is
them
that a
into.
tariff-free operation? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I
Because
know
that was
what the
talked
foreign
about a
trade-
few years back.
Yeah,
about-
that's the foreign trade zone, and I don't believe that this company exports.
Okay.
It's more, and so the tariff-free is for companies that either bring in components from out of the United States or ship components to.
Okay.
And then you can treat that as a foreign
Right.
entity, and you don't
Right.
have to pay taxes until they're, I know enough to be able to tell you there's an advantage to manufacturers, but it's pretty complicated, and most companies outsource that.
Thank you very much.
Looks like you've been busy though. Good job.
Get back to work. Lamar's Code Enforcement and Building Department.
He's not.
Somebody
here.
subbing for Luke, or just read it?
No, just look it over if you have questions.
Okay. All right. All right, we were gonna have a hard start at 1 o'clock for the budget workshop, so it is 1 o'clock.
Right, so we need to stop.